Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you this makeup look right here, which is a little bit of a warmer, peachy, glowy makeup look. This is a great look for the springtime or anytime. Typically I like a little bit more cooler toned pinks, not so much the orangey peaches, but I've really been liking this kind of look lately and kind of reaching for the more peachy items in my makeup collection. So without further ado, let's get started. Before I get started on the eyes, I'm going to prime the skin first, and I'm going to use my Becca Backlight Priming Filter Primer because I really like the subtle glow that this gives, and I think for a nice peachy, glowy, warm look like this, you want the skin to really be glowing. And this is just definitely one of my all-time favorite primers. I really like the effect it gives. I find that it helps makeup last a little longer. I think it also kind of blurs pores just because it's such a brightening and light reflecting primer, but doesn't make you look greasy, don't worry. And now to prime the eyelids, I'm going to use my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in the shade Eden. This is the yellowy kind of neutral based one. I would say this is a pretty basic color. So I just dab a bit on and I'm going to wait for it to get tacky before I blend it out. But hopefully my eyelids look okay today. I had a bad reaction to the Ilia eyeshadow primer which I was trying, and it really dried out my eyelids and made them super flaky, and they were still kind of flaky the last time I tried to apply eye makeup, so hopefully they look a little better today. I actually adjusted the light a little bit. It was looking a little too blown out, so hopefully I'm in focus and you can see the colors a little better. And I'm going to go in with eyeshadow, and I'm using the Lorac Pro Palette because on this end of the palette there's some really good warm peachy tones, and I'm just a really big fan of these Lorac palettes, and I just don't bring them out as much as I should. So I'm going to take my big fluffy brush, this is a Sigma E40, and take the shade Buff right here, which is just a nice neutral all over lid shade, and I'm just going to get this all over the lid to set that Urban Decay primer potion that we started the base with. So I took that shade all the way up to my brow bone, all over the eyelid, and then I'm going to go in with this Nectar shade because it's a really nice peachy shade on that same fluffy brush, and just kind of tap off any excess and just run this through the crease. And this shade is really subtle and it's a nice buildable transition shade, so I might go in with some of the darker browns on top of this, but this is a really nice one to have just laid down in the crease because it helps everything look more blended together in the end. Plus it's a little bit more warm toned, so it's nice to kind of complement the all over peachy look that we're going for today. And to build up that light colored base, I'm going to be going in with this light brown shade here, also on the same fluffy brush. I like to keep things simple and use as few brushes as possible. And normally I would just throw one light brown shade in the crease, but since I have the palette out, might as well try to use as many of the shades as possible. But if you're trying to recreate this look, just a light brown in the crease will give the same effect. You don't need to be so extra. And this palette really kind of has more cool tone shades in it, but these kind of browny peachy colors are slightly warmer. And since I'm kind of going to do the rest of the face a lot warmer, it's okay to have this cool tone on the eyes. I think it will balance everything out. Okay, and now for the lid color, I'm going to go in with this Rosé shade, which I think is a really beautiful peachy champagne-y rosé color. And I'm just taking this on my Real Techniques base shadow brush, and I'm going to put this all over the lid. Oh yeah, this is really pretty. I love this palette actually. I should use this more. And again, if you're doing this at home, I would just do a light brown in the crease and then a shimmery on the lid, but since I'm using the palette, I'm going to be extra and try to use some additional shades. So I'm going to take this beige shade, which is a lighter, just as shimmery shade, and I'm going to pick that up on the same brush and then just dab this into the center of the eye. And using a brighter, lighter shimmery shade on the center of the eye just makes your eyes look bigger and rounder and gives a little bit more dimension to the eyeshadow look. So as you can see, there's kind of some stark lines where I just laid that light shadow. So I'm going to go back in with my fluffy brush to kind of blend it out. And then you can kind of go on top of it if it's really harsh, just super lightly. I'm not pressing really hard with this. I'm just ever so lightly dusting over the top. And then that's it. Don't want to mess it up. Now that the eyeshadow is done, it's time for mascara, and I'm trying out a new one today. This is the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara, and I think there's only one shade. It's 01 black or something, but I was actually ready to buy the full size of this because I watch a lot of Alana Davison videos, and she goes on and on about how wonderful this is, and her lashes always look super full and amazing. So I was sold on buying this, and I had the full-size one in my hand, and then I was going to check out at Sephora, and they had a mini one, so I was like, why would I waste my money on the big one if I'm not going to like it when I can just try this sample size? So we're going to test it out today, and I'm really excited. I hope it lives up to the hype, but if it doesn't, this is a tiny, sample size, so not too big of a loss. So I really like the brush. It's one of those really big, fluffy ones. But what I look for in a mascara is something that's really buildable because I like to put on more and more coats as time goes on. Initially, I am loving this mascara. It is a drier formula, but it still feels buildable. So later on in the video, I'll try to put a little more on and see how it goes. But some formulas are just way too wet and then they get all over your eyelid. And I did get a little bit on my eyelid, which I'll clean up later once it dries. But overall, it looks pretty good and I'm excited to try to layer on more. This might be a new winner of a mascara. So now moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using my everyday foundation at the moment, which is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in the shade Fair Light Neutral. So I'm taking this on my damp beauty blender and I take 1 full pump of this to start and get this all over the T-zone. I have a giant zit right here on my chin to cover, so you'll get to see how good the coverage on this is. And then I need a little bit more coverage on my cheeks because I haven't put any foundation there, so I'm going to take about like maybe a half a pump of this, not the full dropper full, like that much, and spread this all over my cheeks. The foundation is on and I really am happy with the coverage of this foundation. I really like the finish and the color match. This is just my favorite everyday foundation at the minute. So I'm going to move on to eyes and I'm going to use more Becca products. There's actually a lot of Becca products in this video, not on purpose, but I'm going to take my under eye brightening corrector from them just on my ring finger and dab this under the eyes to start. I've really been liking this lately. I just feel like it's very brightening and cancels out my dark circles a lot because I had been noticing like in person my dark circles didn't look that dramatic and I wasn't that worried about them, but then even when I was wearing makeup in photos, like I just looked at them and my dark circles was all I could see and they looked super dark. So I've been trying to brighten them a little more and I really like this product for that. But I find since this is so creamy, it does make concealers like move around a little bit more and not like last as long. So it's kind of a toss up if you want your dark circles covered or if you want your concealer to last. And then for concealer to go on top of that, since it does kind of move around a bit with that base, I'm going to use the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer because the 2 Becca products I think like play best together instead of some of my other concealers. And I just really like this concealer to begin with and it's a nice color match. This is the shade Porcelain and it's not too like white and stark. So I'm just going to blend that out with my damp beauty blender. To quickly set my under eye concealer, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder and this is a brand new one, so beautiful. I can't wait to use this. My other one finally ran out. I had it forever. Like this is the little like travel size they sell at Sephora, but I only use this for my under eyes, not my whole face. So the little size lasted such a long time and I like it because it's much more convenient than having the huge powder thing in your drawer. To set the rest of my base, I'm going to use the MAC Mineralize Skinfinish in the shade Light Plus, which is just my all-time favorite setting powder. So I'm taking this on a big fluffy brush and I'm just whacking this all over to set. Now the face is looking very bare, so it's time to add in that warmth and that peachy tone. So I'm going to start off with bronzer, and this is my Glow Skin Beauty bronzer in the shade Sunlight. And I'm going to take that on my Real Techniques Duo Fiber face brush, which I always do. This should be no surprise. And now the ultimate peachy toned highlighter is definitely Becca's Champagne Pop. So I'm going to take this on my Anastasia highlight brush and get this all down the tops of my cheekbones. I want this to be a really glowy, peachy look, so I'm going to add a lot of this actually. And this I think is a little dark for my skin tone, so if you have like fairer skin, I wouldn't actually recommend you buy this one. I think there's lighter ones from Becca that are better, and from other brands for that matter. But I bought this because I was a huge Jaclyn Hill fan. She was the first YouTuber I ever followed, and you just can't not have Champagne Pop if you're a follower of Jaclyn. And then I'm also just going to try to take some up into my brow bone a little bit, but mostly concentrating on the tops of the cheeks. Okay, that highlight is very beautiful, but I'm going to finish off with blush, and this is the Balm Frat Boy blush, which is just the perfect kind of more matte peach tone blush. I think this is a great blush. It's very pigmented, it's very long lasting, and if you're looking for just like one peach blush in your collection, I really like this one, and it's not super pricey. So I'm just taking that on my big blush brush and adding it to the apples of my cheeks so that we look nice and peachy. To fill in the brows, I'm using my Clinique SuperFine Liner for brows in the shade 02 Soft Brown. This is my favorite brow product at the moment. I really just can't stop using it actually, it's my favorite. To set the brows, I'm going to use the Glossier Boy Brow in Brown, and this also just adds a little bit more color to them to make them a little darker. And then before we finish off, I'm also going to go back in with my Monsieur Big Mascara and try to apply some more coats just to see how beefed up I can get this. I am loving this mascara so far. The second coat went on really well. I think I could definitely keep building this up and it would look beautiful. I really like kind of the more voluminous, and I'm okay with slightly clumpier lashes. If you're really all about like length and separation, maybe this isn't the mascara for you, but on my bottom lashes, it made them look so long, and I'm just super impressed. And it also did not get all over my eyelid, like I said, like just a little tiny bit, but that's mostly user error. Some super wet formulas just make a whole big mess everywhere, and this one's not doing it so far, so I'm loving it. To put the very finishing touches on the eyes, I'm going to go back in with my Lorac Pro 2 palette and take this shade right here, Snow, which is the white like highlighter shade, on just a little dense shader brush, and I'm going to take this into the inner corner to really make the eyes pop and make this a little bit more dramatic. I love a good inner corner highlight with a full eyeshadow look like this. And then just a little bit of that and a little bit of this beige mixed together. Nothing too crazy. I'm just going to lightly highlight the tops of the brow bone as well. And to finish off this peachy, glowy look, I'm going to be trying out a new lip product, and this is the Too Faced Peach Kiss Moisture Matte Longwear Lipstick. And I've just really not been into any Too Faced products recently, and I haven't really tried any. But this is like absolutely beautiful packaging. I have the shade Sunday Funday, which is cute. And just the packaging is really heavy and like luxe feeling. A lot of the times I feel like Too Faced goes a little like cutesy and it like doesn't work, but I think this works. I think it's really cool. And then on the lipstick, I don't know if it will focus if you can see, but it has like embossed peaches and the Too Faced logo like on the top there. It's super cute. So this is like a nice peachy nude color. I'm not really a bright peach kind of girl, but I really like this kind of browny like nudie shade, so I'm gonna try it out. I just had lip balm on my lips before I started doing my makeup, and that all kind of just blended in, so my lips are kind of just ready to go. I don't want to try it with a lip liner. I want to try it on its own for the first time, but I'm so sad to mess up this beautiful embossing. Oh, okay, we're gonna do it together. So first impressions of this lipstick is the formula feels really nice. It does look matte, but it feels like a creamy lipstick. Like it feels very creamy, but I think it could have done with a lip liner underneath. That probably would have made it look a little better and probably last a little longer, but I really like the look. So this is the finished peach makeup look. And I just wanted to show you guys one more quick step before I finish up. If you're like me and you're very fair and you used kind of a darker highlight or something that's just not quite blending right on your skin, I go back over with my damp beauty blender just to kind of like lightly tap over everything. This also helps like if your bronzer got too crazy on your forehead, which mine kind of did, but it really helps blend in anything that is like looking a little harsh on your face. And I'm not pressing super hard and like trying to apply more foundation. I'm just kind of lightly tapping it, and this kind of blends everything in and makes your makeup look flawless. So if you're being really extra with your beauty routine and want to take a little more time, that's a nice final step instead of using a setting spray that I think really kind of makes everything blend together a little better. And that's it for this glowy, peachy makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this tutorial. I love how this look came out. I'm really excited about this new lipstick and mascara. I think these are going to be two new winners in my makeup routine. And I think this is also a nice transitional look going from winter into spring because it is peachy. The cheeks are kind of bright, but the tone of the lipstick and the eyes is just a little bit like cooler and darker. So it's a nice kind of transition look. As always, all the products that I used will be listed in the description box down below. I'm uploading on Mondays and Thursdays at the moment, so please subscribe if you have not already so that you don't miss my next video, and thank you so much for watching.